We'll go ahead and bring the City Council meeting to order. I would like to first ask everyone to stand and join in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Phyllis, can you please do roll call?
Greg Kershaw.
Here.
Matt Dyer.
Here.
Tyler Colenkamp.
Here.
Scott Murray. Here. Wiley Sirk.
Here.
Were you all given a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting, February 1st?
Make a motion to accept them as emailed.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, first matter of business, we have an amendment to Ordinance 2022-1. I believe that's the fire code ordinance.
It is. So, Ordinance 2022-1 essentially repealed and replaced Chapter 91 of our City Code of Ordinances. And there's, once that was approved by council, it's submitted to Indianapolis, down to the Indiana Fire Prevention and Building Safety Commission for final approval. In their review session of our code, they didn't have any issue with the substance and content of the new chapter. What they took exception to was the fact that we approved it and made the new chapter effective upon passage by council, not subject to a final approval by their commission. So they kicked it back to us. So I apologize. I have another ordinance. I have an ordinance amending an amended ordinance for consideration tonight to allow us to simply amend the effective date of when the new fire code would become effective.
So this would be Ordinance 2022-6?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up to 6 already.
Okay.
Only February.
Well, this one's got 3 or 4 of them itself, doesn't it?
I'll make a motion to place Ordinance 2022-6 on its first reading by short title only. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2022-6, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, amending the effective date of Ordinance 2022-1, which amends Chapter 91 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as supplemented in its entirety regarding fire prevention fireworks.
I'll make a motion to pass Ordinance 2022-6 on its first reading.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Roll call vote?
Greg Kershaw.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Tyler Colenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Wiley Sirk.
Yes. I'll make a motion to place Ordinance 2022-6 on its second reading by short title only. I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2022-6, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, amending effective date of Ordinance 2022-1, which amends Chapter 91 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as supplemented in its entirety regarding fire prevention fireworks.
Make a motion to pass Ordinance 2022-6 on its second reading. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call vote?
Greg Kershaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Colenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Wiley Sirk.
Yes. I'll make a motion to
Suspend the rules or?
Suspend the rules.
amend,
Suspend the rules.
to suspend the rules. That's the word I was looking for. I'll make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 2022-6 on its third reading by short title only. I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2022-6, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, amending the effective date of Ordinance 2022-1, which amends Chapter 91 of the Decatur Code of Ordinances of 2015 as supplemented in its entirety regarding fire prevention fireworks.
And I'll make a motion to pass Ordinance 2022-6 on its third reading. Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Craig Koshaw.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Charlie Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Wiley Sir.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Tony, thank you for all your work on that.
Apologize to Ann for all the running around.
Yeah.
We give her first month.
Hey,
Okay.
just had to get it right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Lenny, have further discussion on the possible UTV ordinance.
As I informed you in the last couple meetings, we're taking our time on this ordinance to get it done right. Just when I think I'm getting close, then Counselor calls me and has a few questions. So today we actually met with DNR Officer Jacob Rushling, provide a lot of insight on what we need to do and some of the language. I think we're getting close to being completed, but we originally took out the city ordinance fines, but we got to put that back in there because we're choosing UTV drivers to be the age of 18. You know, and according to IC law, operator can be 16 years old, but I would like to do an 18-year-old to drive them in the city. So we're still working on it. I sent her some examples of possible ordinance fines, the amounts, and I think once we kind of get the language on that in writing, then we'll bring it back to council to see what you guys think about it. But it's coming along. It's getting there. You know, I'm still getting approached by people, but I said every meeting we're talking about, it's not stale. So, but we just want to get this right. And Jacob really gave us a lot of insight on some of the DNR laws too that even I wasn't aware of.
So with this change, can you still use Indiana code?
Yes.
Okay. You don't. Okay.
Yeah. Because I brought up. You had some questions about trails and driving on sidewalks. Well, 1416-120 is in that statute about driving on public streets, not on those things like
Private
that.
property without consent.
Yes.
1416-127, I think, covers driving on public property without permission. So we're expressly granting consent for these types of vehicles to be used on public roads, but not anywhere else. So they would still be able to use Indiana code as an enforcement mechanism for any kind of violations there. But where we are more restrictive than what Indiana code calls for, then we're going to have to come up with an enforcement mechanism or a consequence for that. So we will still have some level of ordinance violations allowable to for the officers to use, but for the most part, the vast majority of any kind of violation would still be covered either as a moving violation or really kind of under the DNR codes.
Okay.
Do we know yet where it will be more locally governed, or is that still in the works?
Do you mean it would be enforceable by the officers? They would try and utilize Indiana code, which would, all of these types of vehicles have to be registered with the DMV. So any kind, it would be attached to their operator's license and attached in that mechanism.
So
is that what you're referencing?
there wouldn't be anything that's more restrictive from our own city ordinance?
Age.
The age limit is.
The age limit.
The age
We're requiring 18
One's
instead of
at
18.
18.
Yes.
That's,
We're also, my understanding is we're also considering not having any child under the age of 8 be a passenger.
which is more restrictive than what the state, okay.
And it seems like a lot of the chiefs that have UTV ordinances, they kind of piggyback on other departments to do that also, and it seems to work very well. The last conference meeting I had last month, they were asking me how when was going. I said it's getting there, but the ones that I talked to have rarely any trouble with their citizens, doing a lot of violations.
So the more restrictive would be the age limit and the age of the passenger on the vehicle.
Yes.
I really appreciated Jacob taking the time to meet with us, and he was really good about clarifying some of the language that's included within the DNR statutes and being able to compare and contrast that to what proposed language was already being considered here, so that gave some clarity about how to move forward and avoid some pitfalls later on.
So yeah, you think this will provide a more clear, and I guess I'm thinking if someone pushes back and even to the point of trying to sue, this provides much more clarity to that.
I mean, it can, there's always going to
I
be
know that.
potential for challenges to
Right.
enforcement, so.
But
there are mechanisms that will be built into the statute or into the ordinance that, if somebody contests it, there's a mechanism for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully within the next couple of meetings, we can get this ironed out.
I think so. I think we're very close. My biggest fear is that I tell people I don't want to rush this, and I don't want to rush you, because I don't want to come back here a year later and say, hey, we need to amend something.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That would get it done right, and we can avoid any pitfalls or any misunderstandings. Believe me, every day almost, people come up to me about when this is going to happen, so.
Well, I appreciate your due diligence,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean that maybe down the road there won't need to be some kind of change, but you guys have definitely worked it, yeah.
Chief Carl's put a lot of work into trying to do the research and the homework about what other communities have done, so I applaud him for putting in the time and appreciate that very much.
Agree.
Okay. Thank you guys for working on that. Thanks for getting it right, trying to get it right.
Hopefully, I won't be here for the next meeting. I'll be in Florida, so
Oh, yeah.
but I can get it. I'll get with Counselor on any updates, so that way she can present the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Les, we want to talk about the possibility of a residential Knox box program.
Yeah, we got a couple press releases.
Les came and talked to me about this a little bit, and there's only certain circumstances where this is really beneficial. A lot of it is snowbirds that go away, and they may have a fire alarm on their house. Fire alarm goes off, these guys show up, there's no key holder, there's no one to talk to. Do you leave or you break the door down? What do you do? This would clear up a situation like that. So this may not be for everyone, but there's some instances where it definitely would help the fire department.
Yeah, our commercial program has just been, it's been great. There's one on the back of City Hall. It's not, a lot of people get kind of squirrely because they think it's the little realtor box, that you'd have to literally pry the Knox box off and take it somewhere and cut it in two with a torch. That's how secure this box is. And it's, the residential is a little smaller, usually about 2 keys is all it'll accommodate, and it's a little more eccentric for a house,
So it's not that little rock that doesn't look like any of the other rocks out there on the porch? Okay.
We would do like we do with our commercial is, we're not going to let them hide in behind a bush or they're going to have to be near the front door, accessible, and this, want to make sure that the community knows that Fort Wayne's Knox box key does not fit a Knox box indicator. All these keys are jurisdictional. We have the only key to our Knox boxes. Byrne has a program. They have their only key. You can't mix them up. They're jurisdictional, and Knox looks at that anytime there's one sold. Just like today, we had to approve the location that, yes, it's in our jurisdiction, and we approved the Knox box. So, it's been really effective.
So does Fort Wayne have a residential
No, I don't know. I know they have a commercial.
Right. What other areas have a residential?
I think up around Angola, the lake area.
That makes sense.
T.R. Haggerty, the chief up there, has tried to push the residential Knox around the lake
Right.
area they have. And a few others. And this kind of come up because Knox actually sent some marketing material to us that said, push your residential, because $400 Knox box is still cheaper than any steel entry door.
Is that the cost?
They'll run about $400, yeah, for a box.
So the resident pays for that?
Yeah, we have no cost put out. It's strictly voluntary. So
I like the idea. And I have a lot of customers that
Well,
live here part of the year.
Oh, yeah.
And live away a lot of the year.
and we had an incident out on 3 East and about 750, 800 North, where they were on vacation, and I think what drives this a little bit, not to bring up a brand name, but if you listen to TV or radio, Simply Safe, they send you all the stuff in a box. It's all wireless, smoke detectors, motion detectors, stick them around the house, and you can even have the system monitored off-site, so you get burglar and fire protection monitored for $14.95 a month. So we just kind of see that down the road, I think a lot of people are going to take advantage of, wow, I can have all this stuff shipped in a box. I don't need anybody to do any wiring for for $15. If I have a burglar alarm, it's going to go off, and that's going to drive us to be making more responses. Right now I don't think there's a thought to make it mandatory in a new house with an alarm system, but Dan and I talked a little bit about possibility down the road residential sprinklers, and I think there would be a place where we may want to look at an ordinance that would mandate it in that. But it's just simply to see if there's interest in the community and provide it and see how it goes. And so I guess it's we just want to let you know that we're going to promote it, and because there is no cost to the fire department. It's all on the homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
But there could be a cost down the road if 2 o'clock in the morning we have to gain access, and we just wouldn't want to do that too often and have a board up company, or we would have to go out and secure the property and let somebody in Florida know that 2 o'clock in the morning we just broke your front door down, and oh, by the way, it was just a bad motion detector or bad detector.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So we'll let the press, and we'll put it on our Facebook, and Jamie can run it through the city site and just promote it and see what happens. And we can maybe report back in a couple months whether it took off or it didn't. So.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully people will call from Florida and say, hey, she told me it's wired there.
I'll sign up.
Yeah, it makes sense.
My thought though, what about keyless entries? How do we do that?
A lot of companies that we
How do you, Wes?
Tony.
Wes, how do you do keyless entries?
a lot of people, like the commercial properties that we have that have keyless entries on the card inside. We'll have a card inside that has the keyless number on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Because we would want a contact list just like we do with Rev or anybody else. They list who do you want called first, if you can't get a hold of them, who we call second, and if there are any keypad doors, then the door code is in there too.
It's in the box.
Yeah, it's in the box.
Okay.
Usually we just take one of our business cards, write all that information on the back, laminate it, and stick it inside the box.
We use our business cards so that we kind of track who was the last person that updated the contact list in the box. So, you know.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
My question is, if someone is home and say they fall and break a bone or something, they can't get to their door, if they have a phone, can it be used for something like that?
Oh, certainly. Certainly it can be used for that. The only thing that for somebody like that, for medical, the only thing that I'm sure there would be some legal issues is allowing the police officers to use our key to get in the house. So that would be the...
I think about kind of the same.
Well, and we've had to make forcible entry into, and it's getting to be more and more where we have to do that. So,
True.
and the nice thing with that is on the trucks, there's always somebody on duty that has a Knox key that could get in. So it's not like you have to call somebody to call somebody. It's we have immediate access to the keys.
That's would ever be something, I don't know how liability falls here, but if we do see more cases like what Barb's saying, that there's some elderly people that want something like that, would there ever be a chance to put like a Knox key at the PD so that you run and get it? I mean, it would slow you down a little bit, but at least somebody could get in. I don't know if that's legal or...
Well, I think...
Or they find the fire department and see if they can...
Because they're mobile, so if we're not on something, we've already got a key. It'd be quicker to just dispatch us
Okay.
with the key. So, you know, it would work better that way.
Yep.
Because I know doing construction out at Belmont, with the big project, there were some gate keys and stuff that were at the PD and at fire department, because you didn't know which vehicle you were going to be in out there, and it just didn't work well. So, but they eventually put Knox boxes out at the school, so
Yeah.
So we eliminated that problem too. So.
Okay. Well, let's see how it goes. See how many people sign up.
They work well for commercial, so we've had really good luck with it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we have a couple third readings from Betty Walters' estate.
Those are done. That was mine.
Oh.
They're already done. I do have a resolution.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay.
We're good with that, right?
We are.
Okay.
We are. So this is ratification of the changes to the COVID-19 guidelines and public health leave policy.
So we basically made some changes to our public health leave guidelines for our employees. We've kind of the whole time been sticking to CDC guidelines. So that's what this is kind of representing, that the new CDC guidelines with the 5 days and 5 days with a mask after that. That's, instead of being 10 days, we're going to the 5 days. So that's what this resolution is about.
All right, so this is 2022-6. Okay. I'll make a motion to introduce resolution 2022-6 to introduce 2022-6.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.
Resolution 2022-6, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Decatur ratifying amendments and modifications to COVID-19 guidelines and public health leave policy established in City of Decatur Ordinance 2020-4.
That was by short title only.
It was.
I'll make a motion to pass resolution 2022-6.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And the big change was 5 days instead of 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
So, and this is, and this resolution, or this policy in its entirety is subject to, discontinuation as soon as the state of Indiana is released from its public health disaster emergency status. So all of this would essentially go away.
Which probably is going to happen next month.
So you're not going to do what the school boards are doing and just move right away from that.
We're following the CDC guidelines.
Got it. That was just a subtle personal comment.
Okay. Did you have something else?
We want to schedule that.
Okay. So in the Board of Works meeting, I'm not sure if you guys heard that we were talking about scheduling a special meeting for two things. I think we were ready to start getting plans set for ARPA funds, at least to get the plan set. There's all kinds of things. There's been some changes in the final rule. We can talk about it that day, and then we can also just come up with a plan, whether we set up percentages going towards certain things or certain departments or however we want to do that. I think it's just something we need to sit down and talk about as a group, and I think it's going to take a lot longer than what we should do in a normal council meeting. So the other thing is Jeremy has some ideas moving forward with sanitation. I know we have an issue with one of the trucks that it's on its last leg, and there's some opportunity to look at some newer technology and maybe the changing the way we do it. Not to privatize it, but to keep on doing it ourselves, but to make it safer, more
Efficient.
everything for our employees and for everybody. So I think, like I said, the only reason we're doing this in a special meeting is to
Allow time.
time for us to actually sit down and discuss it. You're looking at a couple hours probably, so I don't really want to do that in a normal council meeting.
I'm fine with that.
What are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking, AIM is going to have a webinar on the 17th.
Yeah,
To talk about it.
Thursday.
Yeah, so maybe we want to meet after that.
I agree. They sent out an email just a little bit ago that said don't miss the meeting Thursday about ARPA money. So, so I would say next week at least. I mean, we could. What's everybody's schedule look like next week? And I guess it can be at any time and when everybody. Matt, what time do you usually get done working?
Usually I can be done at 6. I can meet, you think it'll meet at night?
Whatever you guys want to do. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
It's during the day.
It's going to be early. It's during the day for me.
Right.
No, probably night. I think night.
What time are you usually back in town?
I can be back as early as 4:30.
Okay.
6.
Wednesday or Thursday would be, I'm out Monday and Tuesday, but
Wednesday's awesome.
Wednesday or Thursday next week.
Which night?
Either.
Wednesday is the 23rd.
Of February?
Or Thursday is this. Want to do Wednesday?
Either works. 6 p.m.? 6 p.m.?
Yep.
Is that okay with you,
Yeah,
Matt?
works for me.
Oh, Wednesday the 23rd, 6 p.m.? I have a Decatur on my schedule, but I'll send Linda Morris in my position.
Yeah.
Jeremy, does that work for you?
Yeah, I'm wide open next week. It's going to be called a special council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
And it'll be located here?
Yeah.
Council chambers?
Yep.
City Hall.
So Wednesday the 23rd.
23rd.
So we'll have to put notice out,
Yeah,
right?
I'll post it and notify you.
Okay. Thank you guys.
You available, Ann?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Freshly back.
Okay.
Too many meetings.
Lunch. Okay. Do you have anything else? You have anything? Good. Department heads, Jeremy.
We have another round of roller coaster weather coming. Seems like tomorrow, I was hearing that it's either tomorrow or the next night, we're going to be in the 50s and then be all the way down to 4 for a low. So, pothole season is definitely here, and it's driven by these rapid temperature changes. So, if you have a favorite or an unfavorite pothole that you've been hitting, we haven't gotten yet, please contact us and we'll get it on the list. But we are out.
Appreciate how quickly
Two or
you,
three times a week to get this taken care
how
of.
quickly you took care of that in front of the First Methodist Church. Thank you.
So, other than that, that's...
And the work order things still work on the website, right?
Yes, we're having some issue with it, but it still works. It's exceeded its life expectancy. So I'm working with Ethan to get that all updated.
Okay.
But it still works enough to get your request in.
Okay. And if not, you can call 724-3356.
That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Lenny?
Worked with Phyllis last year since the police department lost funds for handgun permit. She took care of this grant through the Criminal Justice Institute and got a receipt today for about $6,600.
Nice.
For training.
Nice. Good. Thank you, Phyllis.
Yeah, thank you, Phyllis.
And the police department did lose a dodgeball game to some kindergarten through second graders the other day. I watched. They beat the teachers, but they lost to the... Although some of the kids, I don't think, realized once they got hit 14 times they were out, but it was a good game to watch.
There was several officers that were hurt the next day.
Sore shoulders? I saw them stretching afterwards. I noticed that.
We'll get a little bit better at that for the rematch.
Les, anything?
Just, we were looking on the website for the press release. Knox box 190 to about 315 gets you in there. They're not quite 400. So $190 to about 315 would get you in a residential.
Okay.
So just so the press kind of
Jeff, did you find the favorite seat back there yet?
Not yet, I'm moving around.
All right.
I'll let you know.
All right. Tony?
I'm good.
All right. Kurt? Bill?
Nope, good.
Kevin?
Nope,
Josh?
good.
Carrie? Jamie? All right. Flew through there. Public? Anybody? Council?
Those that are interested in Main Street, we have a meeting this Thursday, 11:45 at the Hive, for those interested in Main Street.
Yeah, Jamie and I have been working with the Office of Community and Rural Affairs, who actually oversees Indiana Main Street. We're trying to just kind of a reboot for Main Street to get it exciting and moving forward again. So Oaker's going to come in and do a Main Street class this Thursday at 11:45 at the Hive. So if anyone's interested, I think Two Brothers is going to have some lunch for us. And
Port line is what I heard.
yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank Mayor Dan Ricker for doing the State of the City address yesterday when I was not present.
Fine job.
I was told that if I ever schedule that again on a Super Bowl Monday after Super Bowl, that he might not show up, but we'll try to reschedule that. I believe we can talk to Linda Morris about that one. But thank you, Dan, for doing a nice job.
Thank you. It was a good crowd. It really was.
Yeah, we even had state level people.
Federal.
Yes. Yeah.
Senator Young, Senator Brown,
That was.
and
That, yeah.
Congressman Banks' office were all
Yeah.
there. Anyone else? Phyllis, we all done? All right.
Motion to pay the claims?
I'll second.
Motion second to pay the claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.